Hello and welcome to Let's Try. We're trying Endless Legend 2. I was very privileged to be given a preview key for this, so my thanks go out to Hooded Horse. As always, they are always firing on all cylinders, and they are publishing Endless Legend 2, and that's awesome. I couldn't really imagine a better fit, to be honest. A couple things I want to note here is that I am actual dog water when it comes to 4X games, grand strategy games. However, I have been dabbling a little bit. I've been trying to push myself and put myself outside my comfort zone, and I've been playing a lot of other 4X games to try and get a little bit more competent at them. But if I make mistakes, be sure to yell at me in the comments. It actually helps me a great deal. I appreciate you, bud. I'm going to be doing a quick game and jumping into a normal experience. I'll be talking a little bit about what is similar in this experience to other 4X games, at least the ones that I have played, and what sets it apart. I think the first thing that sets it apart right away is actually the flavor and the lore. This world has a really cool vibe just in general, a really cool aesthetic, and it's got some really interesting characters and cultures. I will be playing as the Kin of Sheridan. I'm sure some people would love to see the cool robots, but I'm just going to be playing the characters that I know for now.
With Garen's courage and Garen's steel, I will rebuild the Kin anew. With the wisdom of the stars and the strength of the chosen, we will fight to ensure that Sayada is not a staging post, but our true home.
I really like that opening. I actually really enjoy the music in this game. So we're going to want to find a place to settle. One kind of interesting thing about this game is that anyone can settle. You don't need a special unit to do so. So for instance, these Sentinels, they're a good scouting unit. They've got a pretty good range. They can settle just as easily as anyone else. Here is our hero. If you've played any game that is influenced by Heroes of Might and Magic, you will feel right at home here. You have a hero. They are significant. They can't really die permanently, but their death is definitely a loss. You'll lose a few resources. They can have equipment. They can complete quests. In fact, the heroes are the only units that can complete quests. And yes, there are quests in this game, and yes, they are significant. One thing I like about Endless Legend 2 that sets it apart from something like Age of Wonders is that the quests feel very obtainable, but also their rewards feel quite significant, at least at the stage you're at when you complete them. So we're going to find ourselves a place to settle. One thing I really appreciate is in this beginning, it really encourages you to take your time about settling and find a place that is actually appropriate and not just like settle on turn one as you tend to do in these kinds of games. If we click this found capital, this is another thing I really appreciate is it just tells you like straight up like, hey, these are two pretty good spots. You could do that. You could just settle down right there. And I think I will. It gives you a slight benefit. I think it's like plus 50% resources or something. Plus 50% all resources, depending on how many turns have passed since you started the game versus settling. And I really appreciate that. It means that you're not quite so rushed to like settle your first town. I'm just deciding, do I want more food or do I want more industry? I think I want more industry, especially for this first city. That is of course the resource that you use to build new units and also build up your city. Building cities in this game is actually really intuitive. It's one of the most intuitive 4X games I've seen in regards to how you build your town up, because you can just sort of visually understand how it works. It's very well conveyed. First of all, I can see from all of these hexes exactly what kind of resources I get, and I can intuit what kind of structures I need to build on those hexes. Unlike other 4X games where you're sort of building structures and those structures are visually being represented in the town, but they're not really taking up any space in the world per se. This game, you literally have to kind of build those structures in space. They do take up room, and they also have sort of strategic adjacency bonuses, so you want to plan ahead a little bit. I think the first thing I want to build, in fact I really only have the one choice, is a works to build up Mart industry, and of course we want to build it where there is already industry because then it will gain an advantage for that. So that's going to take 4 turns to finish, and in the meantime we're going to explore the world and see what's what. So the first thing is we've got these Daughters of Boar, and they are a minor faction and they have a pacification bonus. Pacifying them will generally mean either either defeating them in combat or completing a quest. I really enjoy completing the quests to assimilate the minor factions. I find that to be really fun, actually. And we're also going to be picking a research. The research in this game is also really intuitive. I really appreciate actually how Endless Legend 2 kind of takes away some of the agency, because these 4X games can get really overwhelming. You can find yourself like having to be making decisions that will ripple through the rest of the game. And though that is true here, the ripples aren't as far reaching. This is our tech tree, our research tree for the first year. These things that we're researching are really only going to affect us in the short term. Once we have developed for a little while, then we'll gain access to more complex and, you know, bigger tech trees. But like, these are not dictated by what we take here. They're dictated by how long we've been on the world. So it's kind of time gated rather than research gated, if that makes sense. You aren't going to need to, like, say, research the scientific charter in order to research materials science, for instance. So one thing is, I know for a fact that we're going to want scribes. We'll talk about that as well in a bit. Civil order is also important. I mean, all resources are basically important. I honestly think that doing the scientific charter is a good first move, because then we're getting more research right away, and then we can research other things more quickly. So I am just going to wait for our hero and this extra unit to kind of merge with our legion here, and then we're going to fight these Daughters of Bor, and we'll see what that looks like. Oh, I forgot to tell our legion to stop auto-exploring, but honestly, I'm not mad. They found ourselves a curiosity. Plus 40 health. I don't know if that was actually very helpful, because they were at full health. So we're going to move my guys over here to prep for when our legion gets over there. So we have two major resources. Is we have dust, which is your currency. This is what you use to pay for your armies, and a little bit of trading, although it doesn't seem to be as relevant in trading as other things like special luxury resources. And we have influence, and influence is an extremely important resource that we use to basically build up our towns, as well as form new towns, as well as do diplomacy. I'm going to be working towards increasing that as much as possible over the course of this game, so that we can found as many towns as we can, so we can sort of expand as much as possible. That's the 4X part, I guess. And also so we can be breaking bread with our local rivaling factions. Let's go ahead and merge these two groups, and then we're gonna hit these Daughters of Bor. Oh, they actually do have a parlay. All right, let's do a parlay instead. We'll get into questing. I don't speak with outsiders, especially if I don't know them, and with every second wasted on foolish talk, the scrolls decay even further. The kin of Sheridan may be outsiders now, but we would earn your trust. What are these scrolls? The Daughters of Bor keep our guard up for good reason. I am chiefess, but also memory keeper. I hold our past and teach it with the scrolls. That's where your history is kept, and you say they are decaying. Maybe we can help. Tribe must not know our triumphs, our sorrows, the dark days of our imprisonment, and we all overcame. This cannot be forgotten. Past will not fade away while still I breathe. At times I almost feel the scrolls are alive, drawing on the world around. Odd as it may be, I think they might be preserved by returning to the places whose stories they tell. I wish to know if I am right. Take the scroll to where its memories speak loudest. Then you will have my respect. Such delicate things, we will keep your past safe. So our quest is going to reward us with 150 influence. As mentioned, that is extremely important. It's also going to give us some kind of equipment, which is nice. Pacifies the Daughters of Bor. Search the Bor's retreat. Okay, we'll do that. And it's really easy to follow up on these quests. So we can see our quest on the left side here, and we can just click on that locate objective. Also, gotta say, Endless Legend 2 has really nice tooltips. It's really easy to just kind of like flip through stuff, and I can hold the shift button and like lock through and just like kind of read stuff. Not a unique thing of it, Endless Legend 2, but I just really appreciate seeing that. I'm gonna go ahead and make my way over there, and that'll take a few turns. And in the meantime, we got 2 turns left on this works to be built. A lot of the things that are true in other 4X games are true in this game. Your population is dictated by how much food you have. If you have surplus food, your population will increase. Eventually your population will plateau based on, you know, the food needs being met. Our armies have upkeep, so we're going to want to make sure we have more dust, but don't do what I do and don't build armies, because then you're going to fall short of the other major factions, and they can basically steamroll you. See, there's not a lot of things I will say that you spend your dust on. Like, yes, there are things, but the main thing is your army, and I actually really appreciate that that is true in that sense, because it again takes some of that strategic agency out of my hands. It's like, no, just build armies. That's what that money is there for. As long as you are in the black dust wise, then you know you can probably build more armies and sort of expand in that sense. The other thing that we are going to want to look at occasionally is the population of our city. This dictates some of its resource gathering. We have so far one guy here who is in the artisan slot. This means that they're raking in a little bit more industry, which means we're building quicker, and that's good. Maybe when we increase our population though, we're going to want to put a couple in scribes because that'll increase how much influence we garner per turn. A quest requires our attention. Oh, we've got a new quest. 20 winters have passed since the mantle of leadership fell on General Shaparenko. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Yet she could remember no harder time. The devastation of the storms have scarred many kin, and the ensuing starfalls have stirred ancient memories of their own times traveling the heavens. Sermons are more evangelic, congregations greater, and canticles sung with unrecalled zeal. Garen's legend burns brighter than ever, with many kin desperate for their lost leader to return from the wilds and relight their path. The leader of the kin, it is a testing time. Prija is missing, slipped past the patrols. Another one determined to retrace the great commander Garen's footsteps, no doubt. We'll need to send a search party. Search the mosaic halls with a hero. So you really are going to want to prioritize these quests. These are the ones kind of given by your capital, and they kind of dictate a little bit of the progression of your culture. Hugely so. Like, I ignored them a little bit on my first playthrough and I did okay, but I definitely discovered that with the completion of your capital's quests, you find a lot of major progression milestones are unlocked, including the receival of the next capital quest. I am going to go ahead and do this, but maybe both things are in the same direction. Hey, they are. Cool. So we can definitely do that. Here's our map so far. Not much to speak of. I do really appreciate this view. It's a nice way of just kind of seeing like what's going on in the world, and it's a little bit easier to read than the 3D looks sometimes. Like, we got ourselves another valuable resource. Giant orchids. This would give us more food and more dust if we were to settle down here. Not a bad idea. Maybe we should do that. We have a few turns before we need to start spending influence on our capital. We don't really need to like start pouring into that right away. So it might be a good idea to actually make a new camp. Oh, there's actually really good. There's stunted cops, which is an anomaly. Have a look at what that means. The interesting thing about anomalies, they give you major kind of resource benefits, but you can't really build on them. They're a slight double-edged sword, but more often than not, they're a benefit. It's telling me to build right here for 10 industry. I mean, that is quite nice, but I really think over there would be better. I'm surprised it's telling me to build here and not here. I feel like this is just better. I'm gonna do that. So it's gonna take 3 turns to form that camp. A camp is not a city. Your only free city is the first one you build, your capital. And building another city is extremely expensive. We're kind of not gonna be able to do it for a while. We'll talk about why in a sec. So one thing I really appreciate about the expansion traits of this game, and they're telling me about that right now, the way that your town expands is very much in your hands. I find something that is really difficult to understand in a lot of Forex games is like how to get your cities to grow properly. And that's something that is like really easy to parse in this game. You spend influence to expand the borders of your city, and then you build structures on them, and that gives you benefits based on resources that were available on that tile as well as adjacent districts. It's pretty easy. It's actually like really intuitive. It's really easy to understand. But one thing I do appreciate is that building cities all take from influence. It takes from one pool of resource, meaning if I build a new city like this camp over here and I build it up to be a city, I would be taking from the same pool of influence, meaning the growth of that city is not dictated by that city's progression. Like, you don't have to start a new city and then like build a granary, you know, build the monument, build all of the things that you know your city's going to need to sort of get over that hump of it needs all like X, Y, and Z checkbox checked in order to actually contribute to your major strategies. You can start a city and start building it right away as long as you have the influence to back that up. And when you're in the kind of early to mid game, we're not even really in the early game, but when you're in the mid game, you're going to be getting tons of influence as long as you're working towards that, and you're going to be able to build as many cities as you really want. So it looks like they did build that works, and now it's contributing 5 industry. Because there's quite a lot of industry in this town, I think I'm going to build another one, although it's going to take 6 turns. Maybe we'll want to do a keep first, actually, because our keeps also give us some industry. I think that would be a good idea. Strongholds are obviously going to make your cities a bit harder to attack. Only really a big deal if you're at war, which we're not right now, so it might be better to just build another works. So yeah, I think we're gonna build another works there. I think that's not a terrible idea. We could spend some dust to have it built right away. That is an option. Scientific charter researched. We got ourselves the ability to build laboratories. I think we're gonna want fencing because I think the next thing we're gonna want to build is farms. This camp is one more turn away from being built. Okay, we've got our camp. So as I said, our camp is not a city. Our camp is a camp, and we can, for a considerable amount of influence, turn it into a city. But for a considerable amount less of influence, we could just attach it to the city. There's a couple of reasons we would want to do that. I mean, the obvious one being that we could afford this, but your city can only have so many camps attached to it. I think the max is actually 2. That number might change based on your scientific progress, but I found it was basically 2 for the entire playthrough of this demo. So you kind of want to pick and choose carefully which ones you attach to your city and which ones you evolve. Evolved cities get to progress independently. Attaching the city, you get to kind of benefit immediately, but you don't get to progress them as significantly. But anyway, we've made a camp, so we've kind of put our stake in the turf. We can build that up later. Let's go and see if we can't complete this quest over here. As I thought, the past is always present on Sayeda. The daughters know it, and our scrolls know it too. The rot has fallen away from this one, and I'll soon restore the others. And we've got another minor faction we can talk to. I really like the idea of these guys. They're kind of like, I don't know, a person made of a lot of little baby ghosts. They're really strange, and I just love them conceptually. You must be a soldier. Why are you here and not at war? A champion. We have always wanted to meet a champion. Kin of Sheridan, I propose you help us become a true military power. Stand back and see why we call them heroes. It's a simple quest. Level up your hero. We got to get our hero Uirak to level 1. Currently they are like level 0. It'll be easy enough. We just need to get them over to this other quest. Probably that will level them up. Protectorate ready. So when you have brought a couple minor factions into your fold, you can set a protectorate. Obviously you have more slots in the future for protectorates, but the long and short of it is you set one of your minor factions as a protectorate and you gain a unit from that minor faction as well as a couple minor benefits. It's not cheap. It costs 150 influence. So it basically costs the entire reward amount for that quest. But if we were to do so, we would get the Huntress unit, which is pretty nice. Our benefits scale with the number of villages we bring into the fold. If we go and pacify more Daughters of Boar villages, we'll gain an extra benefit. Currently, if we bring them in, we'll gain +1 industry, +5 experience on new units on city, which is pretty nice, but I don't really want to spend that influence right away on that. We will be waiting for quite a long time if we want to turn this camp into a city, but I think for the time being, I'm going to attach it for 100 influence. And yeah, you can see that we would have to spend a little bit of influence right away, even to just get the adjacent tiles. But I think it's worth it. 34 to get 4 industry and 4 dust per turn. That's really nice. And then an extra 4 dust per turn for another 45. We'll get it on the next turn. That was a good first foundation to get because we get 4 industry right away, but we can't really build anything yet, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We're already spending, see, since this camp is now part of the city, they don't get to build independent things. They're just contributing to the original city, which is fine. That means that now we're contributing an extra 4 industry per turn to our major capital. That's great, but it does mean we're spreading our butter a little bit thin. We have 1 more turn until we build that lab. So I haven't really seen any like baddies. One thing I appreciate about this game, I mean, like, yeah, it's a fairly warfaring game, but you can play it fairly diplomatically. You do not need to wage war with like every faction. I always appreciate seeing that. We do have a lab. I think we need to build a farm, but we're not quite there yet. Maybe we can build a unit. 4 turns for a legion. Yeah, let's build another unit. We've now researched farms. Let's also grab that guy there so we get extra food and dust per turn. I think we would be good to start researching some military. And actually, rather than doing this other like build structures one, maybe we do gain extra spoils and experience. If we could research this before we make our new legionnaire, that'd be kind of fun. We've got a couple of interesting things over here. First of all, we got our quest, but we've also got a curiosity over there. Let's complete our quest. I think that would be a good idea. We get 75 dust. You're lucky we found you. In winters past, the necrophage have swarmed out of the depths of these ruins. You pay a lot for this obsession with Garen, don't you? And I am happy to pay. Someone must seek the truth, after all. General, our scouts have sighted necrophage in the vicinity. We must have disturbed a nest. All right, all kins to arms. So, we are thrusted into a potential combat. There's some necrophage that we have to fight. Necrophage are basically just like kind of necromancy bugs. I don't know if they actually bring themselves back to life, but they seem to have this kind of undead vibe to them. And we're gonna go and do some combat, which will be our first combat for the game. One thing I really appreciate about the combat in this game, yes, it works like Heroes of Might and Magic or Age of Wonders, where every single little skirmish is its own little tactics game, but in Endless Legend 2, it is instantaneous and takes place on the world. You don't have to kind of load in a separate battle map and slow things down at all. I can do the same kind of like instant resolution, and in fact that might be a good thing because I can see I would only lose like a little bit of health. I mean a lot of health, but I wouldn't lose a unit. I am going to do a manual battle though because I want to show off all the aspects of this game if I can. So we've got a couple units over here. We got bandits, speeder, and necro drones. So they got, when attacked by a range unit, reduces the damage taken by 25%. So they're pretty strongly defended against ranged units. When attacking a unit being not adjacent to units of its army, adds 20% damage. Okay, so it seems to have a ranged attack. So we've got our hero. We're gonna, I mean, they are ranged, but maybe we would be better off fighting the necro drones. The necro drones are flying, so they are not inhibited by like any of the terrain. So yes, like different terrains are gonna have like different movement bonuses. I think what I'll do is I'm just gonna move over here. Let's see, actually, what's their movement? 3. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so if we move like here, then we're in a pretty good position. Obviously, it would make sense to move up a little bit, but we wanna make sure that all of our units are in a position where they can actually do something on the next round. So we'll defend those units. We're gonna defend everyone. There are bonuses and stuff if our army units are adjacent to other army units. So like for instance, it might be a good idea for me to move these guys here and then move these guys here. And they even gain a forest cover, so they're going to gain an extra bonus. And we can kind of see how this is going to go when I attack them, which is pretty good. Might have been better actually if I had gotten closer to the ranged unit, but that's okay. I want to try and take out this unit as quickly as possible. So we're just going to hit them as hard as we can, and we're also going to have our ranged unit hit them. The battles are pretty predictable. Like as you hurt units, they'll lose a bit of attack damage. They're not going to do nearly as much in future rounds. So eliminating a unit or even like hurting them is doing some significant amount to them. All right, so let's start hitting these guys. I mean, this is a really easy combat. It's basically an introductory combat. But one nice thing is that I'm not going to be taking nearly as much damage as the instantaneous battle would have done to me. The enemy slain, still as menacing as the day I first set eyes on them though. The day the necros stop giving me the shivers is the day I relinquish my command, but we will call this world home one day. We got ourselves 75 influence. Our chosen units are close to full readiness. Meanwhile, I recommend we get as many hands on deck as we can muster. Raise up our settlements for whatever's coming. Exactly. For the United Empire, may it reign eternal. Have 3 populations as artisans in Garen's Rest for 3 turns. Well, it says for 1 turn actually. So in order to do that, we're going to need to increase the population of our city. We got some spoils for that. Your units do have to undergo some exhaustion after combat, so you can't just like send one unit to combat after combat after combat. All right, let's check out this curiosity. You're saying someone murdered the leader of the Black Hammer Company and the others tore each other apart? Why? Possible mutiny. Alert the nearest villagers that a crime took place. We'll get some extra dust for doing so. Take whatever valuables they left on this mortal plane. We'd get ourselves some equipment, which gives us resilience. I happen to know that is actually extremely beneficial for us. Think long and hard about how this happened. This would give us plus 20 dust per character appointed to the Council on Cities. This is actually amazing. But this also gives us negative 100% health regeneration for 10 turns, which is quite a lot. This is such a good boon though. I'm gonna grab that. So that brings me conveniently to the hero aspect of this game. Let's have a look at that. There's quite a lot going on here. First of all, we can assign a companion, which is your kind of local populace. This will give us plus 2 capture points when performing any capture action per units on army, or plus 2 capture. Oh, well, it's exactly the same. Okay. I actually want to hold out for a different companion in the future. I happen to know there's some really interesting ones. We haven't leveled up yet. We are very close though, but we can assign some equipment. Oh, are we not able to take this yet. Pets are not implemented yet. Oh, impossible to use this type of equipment with this hero class. I should have known better. That's a darn shame because I know this hero benefits a lot from resilience. That being said, we may get another hero in the future that can use this. We have a new legion. We have no pending constructions for the time being, but we can make some farmland. So let's get some farmland going. We haven't yet met another major faction. Scavenging researched. It's a shame that we researched this just after we defeated that actual combat. We probably want to start building some keeps pretty soon, so getting extra industry for that is nice.
Kin of Sheridan, a time of great upheaval is upon us. As the heavens open, remember our creed and stand strong against the horrors of the night.
So this brings me to another major feature of Endless Legend 2 that sets it apart from other 4X games, something I really appreciate. It isn't a race to seafaring, by which I mean, I feel like a lot of 4X games, a lot of grand strategy games have this kind of unspoken race to seafaring where you're just trying to get to boats as quickly as possible. And I know that a lot of 4X games deal with that in different ways, but the way that Endless Legend 2 deals with it is, as far as I know, I might be wrong, but there's no seafaring. There's zero seafaring in this game. Instead, the exploring the rest of the world is kind of time gated. So you have a certain amount of time or a certain number of turns before you are hit with a monsoon. The monsoon obviously affects you in some major ways. It affects your vision. There's more things to fight. There's more things to do. But the important thing is that after the monsoon is over, some of the oceans are going to recede and reveal more land and more ruins and more quests to explore. And also do some major interesting things to the landscape, including connecting major land masses and open up new possibilities and maybe even new strategic tactics for you to exploit. Looks like we got ourselves another curiosity. Ooh, that's nice. We really need to be doing a bit more exploration. We are going to be appointing our first council seat. This is another small amount of agency. We basically decide the direction that our society is going to go in. Do we care more about approval? I generally like to go for industry if I possibly can, because I like to build as quickly as I can. More industry on capital, but less industry on camps and cities other than capital. Well, we can change this later. It will cost us some money to do so, but for now, I think we will benefit from this. Ooh, an anomaly. Pretty good one, actually. I think we would like to build another camp here if we can. Can't be done as the territory is already claimed. I guess that makes sense. I suppose what I could do is start extending my foundations over there, which would be extremely expensive, but not prohibitively so. It's pretty prohibitively expensive, I gotta say. More curiosities, more benefits. Okay, we have no pending construction. We want to deal with that. I think we actually want to grow a little bit. There's some resources just kind of sitting here. We can build some more works, so I think we want to start building some keeps pretty soon. And we are very close to having increased industry on keeps districts, so building some keeps might be a good way of also increasing our production. So yeah, let's go ahead and build that. Let's build another keep. We've got our legendary defenses, more curiosities. I feel like we're gonna want to, well, there's some really good stuff here. If this landmass is uncovered after the monsoon, we are definitely gonna want to exploit this. Let's just have this guy guard that zone. City thrives, yet some of the kin wear faces grim as thunder. They are angry, not with you, with Prisia. We'll need to keep her out of the way while she recovers. I will see to it. In general, there is good news too. Soon our mighty chosen units will roam far and wide. So the chosen units are basically the unique units of Kin of Sheridan. They are like tall kind of Goliath robots. They're really cool, actually. For the time being, we're only going to be able to have like one of them, but as we progress, we're going to be able to unlock more and more of them. So we can search for Hermit's Abode. We've got 4 more turns of monsoon. There's a little bit more landmass to explore. We could make use of the time. Yeah, why don't we have the Sentinel go check out that zone over there? Okay, monsoon is dying down. I love this little moment. It's just actually really pretty. And we can see the waters recede and our new landmass is taking shape. Look at all those pretties. Tidefall occurs. Hydromail discovered. Titanium discovered. Oh, look at that. Wow, that's actually some major titanium over there. This is such a good spot right here, though. Ancient bunker. really good industry, really good science. This is a ridiculously good spot right here. We need that. We're pretty close to being able to found a camp as well, and we can also include it as part of our capital city. There's our chosen unit. With chosen in the field, the citizens of Garen's Rest sleep easier, knowing they are more protected than ever. I can help. I know things about that place. My time away from the kin has been enlightening. Give me some materials and I'll help be your guide. So we have to bring 10 of a luxury resource to long submerged ruins. This will work towards the gaze of Garen, which is a really nice perk. We've got our work cut out for us. We do have a couple of villages here. We've got an anomaly. We've got another anomaly. This is just a ridiculous spot right here. Unfortunately, we kind of don't have the one resource we need, which is glass steel. Oh no, we do. Glass steel is right there. Actually, instead of building there, I'm gonna go right there, and we'll have to wait exactly one turn to build a camp. In the meantime, we're gonna try and exploit every other little curiosity. We could get another site in club. Well, I happen to know that that's a waste of time, so let's go ahead and get the 150 dust. We have another minor village here we can try and make peace with. So now that we are officially in the second year, we can start researching more advanced technologies. We're definitely going to want the mineshaft basically as quickly as we can get it, because we're going to want to exploit titanium and glass steel. Here's a new minor faction. Bird people. Speak, kin of Sheridan. If you have come here to talk, maybe you will distract me from my worries. It is grim and the sky is dark, but maybe you have better eyes. Unlocks the runaway. +4 dust per population on scribes. Oh, interesting. We need to build a trading post. Well, that's not going to happen for a while, unfortunately. But it does look like we have a combat we can do here. This is not our hero group. This is just a random legion. I'm going to retreat. They do lose a bit of health, but I really much prefer that our hero fight that group. Our hero's kind of busy right now, but they'll be done soon enough. They're gonna try and fight me again. Can we retreat again? That would kill the entire legion. Shoot. All right, we'll just fight it off. I'm gonna do an instant resolution as well. It's been an uncharacteristically very peaceful 4X game right now. I'm gonna send my units back so that they can heal inside the walls. And it's gonna cost us 200 influence to attach this city, but I think it'd be a good idea to do that. Although honestly, it might be a better idea to just make it a city, because then it's gonna gain all of the adjacent tiles. I really think we need to start doing some skirmishes. Even though we haven't found another major faction, it's probably be a very good idea. Here we go. Let's fight some Ochlings. And I don't like how much damage my hero is taking, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a manual battle. So here's our chosen unit. They are wall breachers, so they're good for attacking cities. Juggernaut. When attacking an infantry unit, they have extra damage. They also have extra damage for conducting a siege, and they have extra damage equal to their shield. Currently, they only have 8 shield though. We're honestly at like the perfect distance right now, although they are ranged, so I think we're at a disadvantage if we stay back. They're gonna get to attack us no matter what. So we may as well move up as much as we can. Oh, they backed up. That's interesting. It kind of gave me the advantage, because now I have like forest zone to attack them from. Just kind of move everyone up. Again, I like to move everyone before I attack, because then they gain a slight benefit, although I guess I'm not going to make it. It's okay. The chosen unit can smash face. Ooh, so they're going to try and surround my chosen unit. That is totally fine. I am totally cool with this. Smash face. Continue smashing face. Kill that unit, and we can just attack them from here. They all are attacking the chosen unit, which is amazing for us, because the chosen unit has undeniably the most health and defense. Legendary indeed, General Natalia Shaparenko. Truly, you create heroes as we create tricks and games. We finally completed that one quest, which means we're level 1. Yay! I am gonna wait for the extra honor so that we can make this camp a city. We don't seem to be exhausted right now, but we can level up our hero. So I finally get to talk about this. I actually really appreciate the hero progression system in this game. It's, again, also very intuitive, very accessible. You have a skill tree. The skill tree works like a research tree. You need to have a certain number of skills in a wing in order to get to the more advanced ones. That makes sense. All of these different abilities, I mean, they're passives and actives. Your hero is going to have major active abilities, are dictated dictated by their ability score, which you can also spend their hero points on. One thing I really like is that I can see just by hovering over these abilities which skills benefit from those abilities. So for instance, I'm hovering over might, it shows me that this guy here benefits from that. And if I read that, it'll say it gives me an extra 3% damage per might. And sometimes the extra benefit they get from abilities are when you take them, meaning you might want to increase your ability score a little bit before you take some of those skills. So for instance, this nature of the beast, when unlocked, adds an extra 3 health per resilience. It might be a good idea for me to like put a point into resilience and then take this skill if I want to have extra health. But you know, then again, I actually think that this devoted guard is probably better because it scales with my resilience. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. Now, have we gotten any equipment we can actually use? Toughened gambeson. We can actually equip something. Extra health on hero, extra defense on hero. Perfect. And why don't we do another skirmish? We have like overwhelmingly better odds in this regard. I actually kind of like the instant resolution here, so let's go ahead and do that. We got another piece of equipment which gives us +1 resilience. Heck yeah, bud. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So we're about 3 turns away from getting that city, so we can't really interact with this submerged ruins just yet. And we can also see that our dust upkeep is starting to, like, our armies are starting to actually eat away at our benefit each turn, so we might want to slow our roll just a little bit when it comes to building more units. I'm gonna go ahead and recuperate our army over there for the time being. I'm actually going to cancel some of these others. I think if we're canceling those, what we might want to do is start converting our production into something. And actually converting it into influence would be kind of amazing. Oh my god, that's going to give us an extra 20 influence per turn. That is fantastic. Our first major faction, only an hour and a half into recording. So when it comes to diplomacy, occasionally come to us with propositions that will take some of our resources. The aspects really like coral. So they're likely going to be asking us for coral as soon as they can get it, or at least asking us for the promise of coral in the future. Anything that we ask for is going to cost influence, so it takes away from our ability to build more cities, but it is worth doing if we can do it. Making friends with your neighbors is a good idea, I think. Maybe that's controversial. Weirdly, that did not give us either the titanium or the glass steel deposit. We do have access to it, we just can't exploit it yet because we're still researching mine shafts. This would be a really good zone to open up. Can we afford that? 54? Not quite. One thing we could think about, since this is a fairly dust-driven population, is we could buy this currency and it will unlock the merchant's house, and we'll just kind of hold out for now. So here's our first aspect army. They're not really doing anything, and the aspects are pretty peaceful. And we could try and like take them on, but I'd rather deal with our minor factions for the time being. We'll just, you know, we'll be chill. It's fine. We're cool. Clacks discovered. We've got another luxury resource, and then we've got unicorn people. You love to see it. They're actually hydrocorns, excuse me. Looks like the hydrocorns are aggressive and they're going to be fighting us. What does our instant resolution look like? Pretty good. I think that looks favorable. I appreciate that that's an option. You've researched a new technology. We can do mine shafts. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to start building mine shafts. Mine shaft there and mine shaft there. Honestly, let's throw some money at that. So we're going to immediately take advantage of those resources, and now we should be able to have enough glass steel to complete our next goal. We're getting 1 per turn, so it's going to take about 5 turns. We have some diplomacy. Oh, they're going to give us 10 glass steel? For a non-aggressive pact, prevent both empires from fighting skirmishes in neutral territories. That does kind of put me at a disadvantage, but that 10 glass steel is very, very tempting. That means we can complete our quest like on the next turn. On the other hand, is this not another fight that we now have to fight? I wonder how they're going to feel about that. This is a neutral territory, I believe. Our hero leveled up again. Honestly, just want to put another point into resilience. True to his word, Rizeld proves a valuable guide, navigating the kin forces through the many hazards of the once submerged site. Old scraps found in the ruins prove a boon too. We'll need to investigate. How do you want to proceed? We can do this quietly by keeping our ears to the ground, or we can do this noisily by making a commotion. Quiet will gain us 5 divine population. Interesting. That gives us quite a lot of benefits, to be honest. Doing it noisy gives us an extra 100% experience gain on Legion, and also a bunch of influence. Let's do it quiet. Let's keep a low profile. So We have divine population. I wonder how that works. This is landscaping, and this is something that also increases in depth throughout the game because you do unlock research that allows you to landscape in different ways. In fact, even in the future, you can create anomalies. So a lot of these gourd bushes that are kind of like naturally occurring, you can just go ahead and make them, which is cool. It looks like we have the benefit of 2 major armies in the vicinity. Some of us are fairly damaged, but the only one I really care about losing is our hero. But it looks like we can resolve fairly harmlessly. We gain 10 Archite. Things are going like uncharacteristically very well. We got another combat. Oh, the Black Hammers. We've been hearing so much about them. Let's just go ahead and win that fight as well. We still need to build a trading post. Oh, we've got a bunch of influence. I wonder if we can get some of these other interesting landscapes. Like, look at that one. That was so good. Oh, that's 10 food over there. Yeah, let's get ourselves over there. This poor little minor faction is just like watching the town build up around them. I think we do need to start building up a little bit. We could start doing some communal habitats. Gives us some extra influence. Not as much as building a forum though. Forums are better for that. But these guys also really like adjacent improved districts. You want to put them like smack dab in the middle of a bunch of other districts. I really do want to get that merchant's house because I'm kind of missing that. I think we need to start putting some points into intuition, but now we have unlocked the next skill tree. You don't have to put them points into any specific wing. They're just gated by how many points you've spent. Yeah, I think we need to start grabbing some intuition. And we're just going to go over and fight this other minor faction. The aspects have become friendly with us, which is nice. Oh, they probably wanted to do some diplomacy. Let's see what that is. We could ask them for vision exchange, but honestly, I think my influence is better spent investing in our city for now. This is exactly what we needed. We needed to fight just a bunch of little battles so that we could level up our hero. So now they are proposing that we share coral exploitation, which is fine because I don't even know if I have any coral, but they can have it. They'll give us a little bit of dust for doing so. Our hero is suggesting we use some of our extra resources to produce some art, which is just fine, seeing as that'll give us some extra influence. We all know how much I love influence. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and spend that right away so we can try and get this extra food. Heck yeah, bud. 10 food per turn. City is going to be bustling. I think actually, let's ask for vision. They want something and we don't have it, but we can get our cartography exchange. Let's get that and we can see how much of the world. So there's almost our full continent. They seem to have met all of the other factions. So we have another aspect faction and another aspect faction. We're rivaling 3 aspect factions. So the last thing I haven't really touched on yet is that each faction has like special abilities. These are things I'm like criminally bad at using. I always forget that these special abilities exist despite the fact that they are like majorly game changing. For instance, this one creates a divine population in the city whose city hall is targeted. This would give us more of that population, or divine population, which gives us like +1 to every single resource per turn. Why don't we just go ahead and do that? Why don't, see what that looks like. We've got another divine population. So that'll come back in 5 turns. Then we've got replenish faith. So this fully restores health of all units in the targeted army. That would actually be great for us because our main army has been like seriously fighting tooth and nail for quite a while. I'm probably not the best person to talk to when it comes to 4X games, but I definitely wanted to showcase this game because it is a really good one. And yeah, this is Endless Legend 2. I'm actually really looking forward to when this game comes out. I want to check out some of the other factions. Currently, I only have the aspects and the kin as options, but I'd like to see how the insects play as well. Currently, this game just has a vague coming soon, but it wouldn't surprise me if it comes out this year, but honestly, I can't speak to that. If you're looking forward to Endless Legend 2, maybe you want to let me know in the comments what looks interesting to you about it, what is changed from the first one. I didn't play a lot of Endless Legend 1, so I'm interested in what is different and also what is the same. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like button. Consider subscribing for more content like this. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.